Hi guys, thanks for joining me. In this video we're going to be talking about axe sharpening. I use my axes all the time, constantly having to top them up and sharpen them. If you've got an axe and you've took a chip out of it and damaged it, or you might have picked an old axe up at a yard sale and you're going to put the correct angles on it after it's been sat in someone's shed for 70 years rusting away, this video's for you. The way I like to top my axes up and repair damage is using one of these. This is a power file, absolutely awesome tool. I've had this years, probably about 8 years, and yeah, it's just fantastic. So quite often if I've picked up a piece of damage on one of my axes, I can literally top it up in seconds and take that damage out, and I'll show you a brilliant way of using one of these for a perfect grind on an axe if you want to get the correct angles on it set up. If you're restoring an axe, and it is absolutely invaluable. I recommend anyone to have one of these in their workshop. Fantastic tool. So let's get into it and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So as I said initially, you can just sharpen an axe straight off with a power file without a jig or messing around. You fire up the power file. You can use your existing grind marks on the axe head as a guide. Roughly set your angle by eye and just bring it around and sweep and sharpen this way, and you can take damage out and you can put a really good cutting edge on there. You can change the grit of the sanding bouts, so they do a range of bouts. You can get, you know, pretty much any grit that you want, so you could do a really fine sharp edge, sharp polish just by eye, just holding it on there. But I'm going to show you how to make a jig for this so you get a complete, accurate, perfect angle and set your geometry up on your axe head perfect on that first grind, and it will just make stoning and honing a doddle afterwards. So what I'll sharpen, just to show you this method, is this old axe head was given to me a couple of years ago. I've had it laying around. I'm going to do a project with it soon, just give it a new lease of life. But this is dull as hell. This has not had a sharpen for probably 40 or 50 years. So this will be our victim for first grind, and I'll set everything up now and just show you exactly the process. We've got our axe head clamped up secure in the vise on the perfect level, and then we bring in our secret weapon, a jig, which we're going to use with the power file, and then that'll allow us to put this perfect first grind on and create the correct geometry on this axe head. So let's do it. Making our angle jig for the power file couldn't be any easier. You just need a couple of pieces of scrap wood. What I did with this bit, where it's not very wide wood, is I cut a piece off the end, screwed it up top, and then marked off and cut my 25-degree angle, so I got a nice wide perfect angle face on there. This second piece of wood's about the same width as the power file, so I drilled this hole on the flat, and then when it comes to putting the whole thing together, you simply want to use the angle with this second piece of wood. When you drill your pilot hole for your screw, then you get that at the correct angle, and it's just simply a case of getting a nice decent screw with a couple of washers on it and then screwing the whole thing together, not too tight. And that's it. There's our 25-degree jig. It's just simply a case of cable tying your power file on there with a few ties. Just a quick word on the power file. This one's made by Silverline. I've had this absolutely years, like I said at the start. To change the bout, you just press the top down, flip the bout out, feed a new one in. It's absolute piece of cake. In the dust extractor port, there's a little button at the end you press, and then that, try and do this one-handed like that, that pops it back out, and yeah, it's absolutely good to go. So the thing I like about these is they've got this flat on the top here, so when you clamp it in the jig, it's not going to have any tendency to try and roll. And if you put a cable tie behind the dust extractor and put about a 10mm thick nut on top to pack it out, that really locks it on, and like 3 cable ties, that'll hold it on the jig. Perfect. So here we are guys, all clamped up, jig's up, screwed into the bench, it's not going anywhere, and it's just a case of firing up your power file and then slowly, not really using any pressure, kind of let the tool do the work. And just start bringing that backward and forward. And let that start putting its correct edge on there. I've actually used this method very successfully knife making as well, to do the initial Scandi grind. Let the power file do all the work. So we've got a nice perfect 25-degree angle ground on this edge now. So it's just a case of flipping the axe head over on the level, make sure everything lines up, clamp it up, and then repeat on the other side. So there you can see, guys, I catch it in the light. Got our initial grind on there now, perfect 25 degrees. So I'll flip it over and do the other side. So here we are, all flipped over, set up. You may have noticed that this heavy old vise is not actually bolted down to the bench. That's so I've got a bit of wiggle room when I do this, because if it's all clamped down, when you're flipping it around and moving it constantly, you'd have to move the jig, or you'd have to create more movement in the jig, like notch it, and that sort of defeats the point of the accuracy of the jig. So as long as your axe head's level when it's clamped, this will work absolutely fine. So I'm just going to do the next pass on the other side, and then we'll see what we've got. Just take your time, let the file do all the work. Don't hang around in one spot. You don't want to build up any heat, and you don't want to gouge it. There we go, all ground up. So let's check out our result. There you go, guys, there's a close-up of the grind. Absolutely perfect, and in the centre with a stone up and a hone, that would be razor sharp and good to go. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If it's given you some inspiration to make a jig and get a power file, then absolutely marvellous. Like I said, they are invaluable tools and they save so much time. You'll find countless other jobs for it as well. So if it helps you put a nice edge on all your edge tools, perfect. So if you liked the video, can you please do me a massive favour and give it a like? For similar content, subscribe to my channel. I'm always messing about building stuff and doing bushcraft projects, so it'd be massively appreciated. Thanks very much, guys. See you next time.